What is up, everybody? I hope you're doing well today. Welcome back to my channel. I always give you guys the truth, and this video is no different. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'm giving you guys the truth. My name is Drake Pfizer with DSF Financial, giving you guys the ATM industry truth and how I'm getting my money to work for me through passive income. I make passive income two ways at the moment, through the ATM business and by renting out one of my houses. Now, you've heard me say it before time and time again, I love the ATM business, but is it better than the vending business, the vending machine business? Which one's better? I don't know. Let's find out. So I've been now in the ATM business for almost 2 years now, and it has been great. Total, I guess, all in all, 6 locations, which is not too shabby. I own one technically now. The other 5 are technically owned by my business partner, but I still help him run it. And so far, Susie and I have learned a little bit about the ATM business, the tricks of the trade, and we've definitely been learning just kind of along the way. It's been a fun process. To be honest though, both ways, both the vending machine business and the ATM business are great ways for some more just financial income coming into the house. And in all honesty, the ATM business is the vending business. We're vending cash instead of cold drinks and snacks though. So it's slightly different. We're just vending something different. I gotta tell you though, there's definitely pluses and minuses of both types of vending, or all of the vending rather, with ATMs and cash vending. If you're vending drinks or snacks, if you have gumball machines, if you have arcades, video games, coin pusher machines, they all have pluses and minuses, which Susie and I really did take into consideration when we were picking the business. Now, in my opinion, the biggest thing to consider is the cost. How much are things going to cost? How much is the product going to cost? How much is the travel? How much is the insurance if needed? There's a lot of costs that go into running a business, and I wanted to balance out the costs of vending cash or vending drinks or snacks, things like that. Now, since we were new to the business, I was pricing out new machines, mainly for the ATM portion, just because you are dealing with kind of a lot of money at once. I didn't want any hiccups from the beginning. I wanted a machine that I knew was going to be ready. I didn't want to have to worry about purchasing a used machine that I didn't know if it was EMV compliant. I didn't know how old the machine was, how well it was taken care of. Just for me, for my own peace of mind, I wanted to price out a brand new machine, a brand new Halo 2, which was roughly around $2,200. Now, for a vending machine, I was pricing out machines, snack machines and drink machines, anywhere from 500 to probably 2,000 used. Quite a big difference, but just kind of depending on the need and how nice the machine was, obviously would be the price difference. Now, there's even gumball machines that you can buy, which are like $100, the little candy machines. That's a great way to start with passive income as well. Younger people, I would recommend starting out with something like that. If you do have, some financial means, that way you can upgrade. When you do have the finances, upgrade to a full line vending machine or ATMs, things like that. There's a lot of options out there for you. Now, with the ATM cost, we also had to consider the cost of the cash that we'd be filling the ATM. So let's say $2,000, $4,200 kind of to start. Kind of high up there in my opinion on starting a business cost, especially if you don't have that type of funds just laying around. Now, with a vending machine, it might cost $100, $150 to fill up the machine, which actually isn't too bad, especially if you can buy the machine maybe for $750, $800. You might be in the business, starting the business, for $1,000, which really isn't bad. To just get some passive income rolling in. Something to consider with the product is spoilage. Now, with the ATM business, you don't have any spoilage with the cash. What's really good is I put that $2,000 into the machine, people take out that money, spend it, and then that money gets automatically put back into my bank account. So that 2000 is just always cycling. It's not like I'm giving out that money and I'm never seeing it again. Now with vending out snacks and drinks, that's a little bit different. You have to purchase those drinks, you have to purchase those snacks, put them in the machine, have people take them out, and then refill it. There's a lot more that has to go on in filling those machines. A lot more cost to consider as well. Now, along with the food, you may get some spoilage. The last thing you want, obviously, is to bite into a candy bar that's, a year old or a year and a half old. So you have to make sure you're constantly cycling through that food, putting the new food in the back and the old food up front of the vending machines or the soda machine, because you don't want to vend out spoiled or expired food. Now, along with that, you may be sitting on a lot of product as well. You might buy a certain type of drink that doesn't sell very well, and you might end up with 20 bottles or 20 cans of soda that is spoiled because it's expired, and now you've kind of just wasted that money. With the cash, luckily you really don't have to worry about that. Your cash is not going to ever expire. If you do have a vending machine business, just make sure you are on top of it, on top of your product, cycling your product properly, and you will be okay. It's just something to consider on what business to choose. Something else that actually really is nice about the ATM business is I'm able to monitor the transactions in real time, essentially. I can pull up the app or website on my phone, and I can see how much money is in the ATMs, how much money is being taken out, how much money is being deposited in my bank account. I can check all of that on the fly. That allows me to fill the machines ahead of time if I need to. Now with vending snacks and drinks, those type of machines, they're not really equipped to tell you exactly how much product is left in the machine or different error codes. Now what you can have on those machines though is the credit card readers, to where you can swipe credit cards on the machines. You're able to monitor those remotely to see how much money you made. But I don't think you can specifically tell it, how much of A16 was purchased, or how much of B37 was purchased, or how much of a product is left. I'm sure they have those for the really, really expensive machines, but for the individual vending owner, like myself and yourself probably, they just don't have that equipment quite yet. Now for me, time is money. Now when I'm talking about time, I'm always thinking about money. My time is money, and with the vending machine business, I have to spend a lot more time, or I would have to spend a lot more time in going to get the product, traveling with the product, dealing with the heat and the cold, with carrying cases and cases of water and Gatorades and sodas and snacks. It is very, very heavy product, and it can be very tiresome and labor intensive. So it's something to consider. Also, in Texas here, it gets 100, 103, 105, and hauling all those drinks is not my idea of a good time. Now, that's not to say I wouldn't do it if it was my business. If I did choose to do that, of course I would do that. I would put myself out there, make sure I'm getting the product in the heat and the cold if I have to. If my machines need servicing, I'm going to do it, rain or shine. Now with the ATMs, all I need the product is $20 bills. I go into a bank, I withdraw 10,000 in 20s, and I'm good to go. Sometimes actually it can be a little troublesome to get that many 20s all at once at one bank, which is a problem with the ATM business. Having $10,000 in 20s, not every bank is going to be able to just fork that out right away. For me, sometimes I have to travel to different banks. I might, travel one by my house, and then I might travel to another to take some more out, to fill a machine, and then I'll go to another bank to fill another machine. Just kind of spreading out my 20s The last thing I want is the bank to get upset because I'm running them drive 20s all the time. So if I can, I will separate out my bank runs to where I'm not upsetting the banks. Now, of course, that is some time, so that is money, so that's something to take into consideration. Now, another kind of bad thing about the ATM business, I guess, over the vending business is safety. If I'm walking around, with $2, $4, $6,000 to fill an ATM machine, that's a little nerve wracking. When I'm, traveling around with a bunch of drinks and Gatorades and snacks, M&Ms, I think I'm a little bit more safer. I'm not going to be. I'm less likely to be robbed than if I was carrying around, the $6,000 to $8,000 or whatever I have in my pocket to fill the ATMs. Now, that's not to say, as an ATM owner, I am very, very cautious as well. I don't flaunt the money around. I'm not, walking up to the ATM. Hey, I'm filling an ATM. I got 20s. I got 20s. I got 20s. I'm not doing any of that. And the biggest protection I think I have is I live in Texas and we are a gun loving state. And let's just say I'm safer because of that. Now, another question to consider is how easy it is to start and run the business. Now, in my opinion, it is a little easier to start a food vending business just because of the laws and regulations and things. But in reality, the steps are the same. You need a business license, you need a machine, an ATM or a soda machine. You need some money for product or money for the product. And you need a bank account to put your funds. Now, with the ATM business, what we notice is there's not really a lot of people you can rely on for help. It's mainly the big banks that run things in the ATM business, and then little guys like myself, there's not really much info out there to help us little guys, which is part of the reason actually why I do these videos, is to help really anybody I can. Now, along with that, we did have to learn on the fly, which kind of is part of the process, kind of the fun. That is something to consider. There's a lot more YouTube videos out there for the vending business than there is the ATM business. And there's just a lot more literature online, Google, things like that, about the vending business as opposed to the ATM business. Now, when having a business, you need a business bank account. And for ATM owners, it can be rather difficult to open that business bank account just because the ATM business can be a little shady at times. Can be a little risky for banks just due to fraud and money laundering, things like that. Now, with a vending business, you're mainly dealing with a lot of change, really small bills, a lot of ones, things like that. So from what I've noticed, it seems to be a little easier to get a bank account for a vending machine business as opposed to an ATM business. Now, one cool thing, I guess, and not cool thing, is you have all the product at your disposal. I can have, a bunch of 20s just right in my hand, or I can have a bunch of candy and drinks just right in my hand. Now, if you've seen my my bedside stand, Susan and I definitely enjoyed a snack, Netflix and chill and snack a lot. And I think for myself, having a vending business where I'm vending out snacks and drinks would not be a good thing for myself, for my diet, for my health, because I would definitely be eating my own supply. Now, with the ATM business, it actually works out really well for us because we can have, say we'll have $4,000 into a machine, and another one of our machines might be really low and I can't get to the bank. So I'll take out, 2,000 out of that one machine with 4,000, and I'll move that over to the empty machine. I'm able to just transfer over the funds really quickly like that. It'd be a little bit more of a job to do that if I was doing that with snacks or drinks. Now, obviously, in the vending business, in the ATM business, we're in it for customers. And one thing to consider is how easy it is to get customers. How easy is it to get a location to put your machines? Now, every location is going to be different, going to have different requirements, and you just kind of have to do a little digging into those locations to figure out if it's a good fit for you. Now, for me, from my experience, I've noticed it can be a little difficult to get an ATM into an establishment because the owner of that establishment is nervous that they may get robbed because the ATM is there. That's just a rebuttal that I have to come up with. That's just something that I have to overcome when I am dealing with those situations. But placing an ATM in a location hasn't been too difficult for me. Knock on wood. Now with vending, it can be a little difficult because of the size of the machines. They're a heck of a lot bigger than ATMs, but you also need to have the traffic, people with hopefully small change, dollars, or have a credit card that they don't mind to use into one of your soda machines or vending machines, and it's just something to consider when picking a location. Now, along with the location, you also have to pay the location to place your item. So for me, 10 to 15% is kind of how I break it down. 45 cents or so would be the 15% breakdown at $3 a surcharge fee, and I give that to the locations. Now, with the vending machine business, with the food, you would also have to break that down by a percentage or I would assume by a percentage, because the cost of the product would be a little bit different. But a percentage, and you would still have to give that to the location owner. Now, figuring that out obviously is a case by case basis, but that is just something to consider when choosing an ATM business or the food vending business. Now, for us, what we're thinking about as well is mobile vending, mobile ATMs rather. Now, we want to get here where we live, there's tons of events that go on year round, and we want to get involved in mobile ATMs to where we can move the ATMs from location to location quickly, and in doing so, we'll be able to profit more. Now, with food vending machines, they are huge, very cumbersome machines, very heavy. You definitely better bring a friend if you're trying to move those, and they're just a lot less user friendly when trying to move them. For me, I've fit two ATMs before, all of the equipment I needed to install the ATM, as well as all the product, the cash, in one SUV. Now, with a food vending machine or a drink machine, that would not fit an SUV. You have to have a truck or a big U-Haul, something like that. Along with that, all of those drinks to fill the machine, all the boxes of snacks to fill the machine, that's also going to take up space. So that's a big consideration as well when choosing the ATM or a food vending machine is transportation. Do you have the transportation or the ability to transport those big vending machines? All in all, the vending business is great. Whether you're slinging drinks, snacks, or cash, it's a great way to some passive income for you. Now, the sooner you start, the better, but obviously, do your research, plan ahead, and enjoy that passive income. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Later.